Hey guys, Miss Pam here. We're going to get out of the house and go for a walk at Natural Tunnel. That's something that you guys can do. It's close to the house and they're open, and you guys can come with your families and get out and get some fresh air at the tunnel. Hey guys, it's Miss Pam. I'm here at Natural Tunnel. I'm up at the top by the chair lifts, and I was going to talk about this train. This train is a narrow gauge train. You can see how narrow the track is right here, and we no longer use the narrow gauge one. We use a larger track, and this train was donated to Natural Tunnel from Wise, Virginia, where they used to have a Rimrock Railroad. It was like an amusement park where there were like a little frontier town and tourist attraction. And they don't have that anymore. It was back in the 60s. And so they donated this train to Natural Tunnel. And this train is a steam-powered train. So they use steam to power it. And you can actually go up the ramp here and check out the inside of the train. And you can come up here and you can see how the train, where they used to put the coal in there. I guess it was coal or wood to make the steam. And you can get up here and you can come out and look over at Natural Tunnel, the parking lot. If you come out and look out this side, you can see the road. And
here's the brakeman handle. That's how they brake the train. Make it stop.
And
this is how they control the steam to make it go.
so I'm walking along and I saw these little buttercups. That's what we call them. I'm not sure if that's the technical name for them or not. But just like at school, we found these out on our playground when we've been out playing. But they're buttercups, and if you pick it and you hold it under your chin, the reflection will make it look yellow under your chin. And the old wise tale is like, if your chin turns yellow, then you like butter. But it's just a reflection from the sun hitting the flower and making it reflect back up on your chin. So we're getting ready to head down the trail. There's my family, and this trail goes down to the tunnel and is known as the Tunnel Trail, and it is 3/10 of a mile, and it's a pretty good path. Most of it is graveled, and then it has this fencing along so that you can hang on to it. And look down there, it goes back and forth. But it's a good little trail to walk down. It's got some benches along the way where you can sit down and rest if you get tired. And then when you get down there, you can check out the tunnel. Alright guys, so we're walking along the trail, and we noticed some of these on the trail. Do you remember what these were called from our video from Bays Mountain? Johnny's got his hand in the way. Remember we talked about these shells? That's right, they're hickory nut shells. And here we even found the inner part, the actual nut, and it comes out of the middle of it. You'll have to do it, I can't see. See how it was in the middle, and then the squirrels cracked it open.
I'd say nature cracked this one open. If squirrels do it, they'll see teeth marks here.
Okay, and then the actual nut, if you want to try to open that up and show them, that was the hull or the shell, and then this is the actual nut inside.
And this one's rotten.
That's probably why it's still here.
Why the squirrels or nothing ate it. None of the other critters ate it.
So there you go, some more hickory nuts. So let's see what else we can find. So I've been seeing a lot of this on the trail as well. Can you see what that is, guys? Some people hang them on their porches around their house. That's right, it's a fern. So those are ferns. And up here on this rock, you can see there is some moss growing. Remember, we've read about that in some of our books at school, about how the moss grows on the rocks or the trees. Yeah. Hey guys, so I'm almost down to the tunnel. There's a little overlook over here and I thought I would stop and take a look at it. But it goes all the way up there. And there's another trail that goes around the lip of it up there. But right here we are, and we're gonna go down to that platform down there and look in the tunnel a little bit. We can't really go in it because this is an active railroad, and there may be a train coming, so we gotta be safe. Remember, Hootie says be safe. But while I was here, I noticed something on this railing. Do you see that? Do you remember when we talked about this on the Bays Mountain field trip? That's right. It's graffiti. And remember, we talked about how it's not okay to graffiti or write your name and stuff on property that is not yours. So we want to take care of it so other people can come and enjoy it here. And down there's the river. Sorry, Mr. Donnie corrected me. It's Stock Creek. So guys, we've made it down to the tunnel platform, and we're approaching the railroad. And do you see the sign? Yeah, that big yellow word says caution. And underneath it says active railroad. Watch and listen for approaching trains. And then as you go across, you see the yellow line? It means stay back there. If there is a train crossing, don't go past the yellow line because you need to be safe, right? And then after the train is gone, you can wait a minute and then make sure it's clear, just like crossing the road. You look both ways and then you can cross. And here is the track. We talked about how the other track was smaller and this one is a bigger track. So here we are. And there's a little tunnel right there. That one is man-made. That means they blasted through that rock to be able to get through. Now this tunnel is called Natural Tunnel. Does anyone know why it's called Natural Tunnel? I'm going to give you a second to think about it, and I'm going to walk on over to it. Alright guys, there's my family, and they're looking in the Natural Tunnel. It's really dark in there. Certain times of the year they do light up the tunnel so that you can see further in there. It looks like it's raining right now. You can see the raindrops on the wood here, but it's actually not rain. It's actually just water dripping off of the rocks. So where it rained, the groundwater is really full and it's a lot of excess, and it's just dripping off of the rocks above us. If you can see it or not in the video, but it's making it like it's sprinkling over here. But I'm gonna move a little bit closer, and Mr. Donnie's gonna talk to about some stuff with the tunnel. So we talked about how that, you see it looks like it's raining. Now you can see it, but it's really just, sorry, something on my leg. It's just water dripping from the rocks. You can kind of see it. It looks like it's raining. But anyways, this is Natural Tunnel, and the reason for its name is because this tunnel naturally formed from, you guessed it, the creek right there running through, and it eroded the rocks. Erode means to work away or make it come apart, destroy it. And it eroded and made this tunnel. And the railroad people said, oh, look, we need to get across this mountain. Look, there's a tunnel already here from the water eroding. So they used the natural tunnel. So this one was made by nature. So that's why it's natural. And remember the one way over there, that one was man-made. That they carved it out. So the next thing we were going to talk about is these, I think those are little caves up there, maybe where the bear lives. And you can see those or not. Right back there. Whoops. Are some more. It looks like caves, but they're actually not. They're not caves. Let me zoom back out here. those are actually little mines. And those mines were from saltpeter. And saltpeter is the stuff that they mine and they use it to make gunpowder. So back in the old days, the frontier people used to mine it, and they could find the saltpeter in there, and then they turned it into gunpowder so that they could hunt and provide food for their families. Interesting fact. There you go. It's kind of loud, so I hope you guys can hear me.
Stock Creek's full of trout.
Yeah. And normally when we come down here and it hasn't been storming real bad, like last night where we got that really big storm, you can stand here and see some of the fish, but it's running, the creek is running really fast right now, so it's churning up the mud and the dirt, so it's making the water very hard to see through. So you can't really see very good in it today. Maybe we'll come another day when it's not so choppy and the water's not churning up the mud and stuff, and maybe you can see some fish then. So let's see what else we can find out, guys. Okay, guys, so on the other side of the tunnel is another path before you can go back up. It's called the Carter Log Cabin, and you go down this side and there's a bridge. And then you go up and around the path, and then there's an old cabin back there. And it was the it's a Carter log cabin, so the Carters used to live in it. Okay, guys, we made it to the Carter cabin. Here it is. And we'll go inside it in a minute, but here's the sign, and it says that this was a small structure of materials harvested from nearby forests, streams, and hills, provided shelter from the weather and protecting animals from enemies and family homes for early settlers. So built at Carter's Fort settlement in 1784. Wow, and it's 2020 now. This cabin is believed to be the oldest house in Scott County. Yeah, can you believe that? The oldest house in Scott County. Okay. A fort, variously known as Carter's Fort, Fort Lee, Chrisman's Fort, and Rye Cove Fort, was constructed by Isaac Chrisman at Rye Cove in 1774. And the fort was a stockade, and was really actually very big for its time, and enclosed half an acre of land, and had several different springs. Remember what a spring was? Remember, it's where water comes up out of the ground, fresh water, and then it feeds into streams, and then into creeks, and then eventually rivers and the ocean. So 10 years later, brothers Thomas, Joseph, and Norris Carter built a permanent settlement encircling the fort site. So after sheltering 6 generations of Carters at 2 locations, the Carter Fort and Carter Town area of Rye Cove, the cabin was reconstructed on this current site, Natural Tunnel, in 1997. So there. And whenever you're out, guys, you can take a minute and have your parents read the little signs that they have, and you can learn a lot of new history and information about what you're looking at. So that's an important little tip right there, that you can just read the signs if you don't know. So I'm gonna walk in and take a look at the cabin. There's Mr. Donnie being funny in the window. He said, "Hi, Mom." Actually, he said "Ma," since, you know, that's the older word of mom. So here's the door to the cabin, and they've got some chairs set up in here. Oh, there's Miss Alyssa, Mr. Donnie. So it's kind of dark in here, but here's the fireplace, and you can see that's where the family used to cook their food, in the fireplace. And you see the hearth on it, a stone hearth, and that's where they could sit their pots and cook and have their family meals, and just kept them warm in the winter. And then if you spin around this way, that's all the cabin is. Right there's the front door, or the back door, whichever you want to consider it. Like I said, there's some chairs, and there's Lucas. And right there, that's it. That's as big as the cabin is. And whole families used to live in here. And it wouldn't be just, you know, mom and dad and a kid. It would be like mom and dad and 6 or 7 kids or more. Sometimes grandma might live with them. Look, they even got a rocking chair on the front porch here. And then there's an outside fire pit that Natural Tunnel put out here. So they have singings and different events they host in this cabin. Hi kids, let's take a minute to talk about litter. So we've talked about how graffiti is harmful to nature and everything. So let's talk about litter. Remember what litter is, guys? It's when you throw your trash down on the ground instead of putting it in the trash can. You see all those plastic bottles over there? That's litter. This is litter. There's some plastic bottles. See it good there. And what happened is people were out hiking or whatever, even maybe up the creekaways. Somebody at their house could have laid something in their yard, and then when the big rain came and it washed it in the creek and it washed all the way down here. And now it's stuck over there on that little bit of ground. You can see where the water was higher, and now it has went down a little bit, and now it's stuck over there. How are we going to pick that up? Some animal might think it's food and eat it, and it could cause them to injure their body. You know, you can't eat plastic. That's not healthy. Sometimes different trash gets in the water, and a fish might eat it, and it might kill that fish. But then look, right over here is a trash can and a blue box. Does anybody know what this blue box is for? Here's the symbol on the front. Does anybody know what that means? That's right, recycle. So it says aluminum, which would be like a Coke can, or plastic like a water bottle, and another plastic for maybe a Pepsi bottle. I don't know. So when you're walking, you can put your plastic and aluminum in the recycling bin. Yeah, that's right, that means recycle. Or if it's other trash, you can throw it away in the trash can right there. So there's different recycling receptacles and trash cans located all over the park. So if you are having a snack while you're out walking and hiking and looking at nature, don't be harmful and throw your trash down. Hold on to it. Soon there will be a place where you can throw it away. Just keep it on, hold on to it, and within a few minutes you'll probably find a trash can or a recycling receptacle, and you can put your trash in there instead of on the ground. So be helpful. Hooty hoo! Alright guys, so we moved on from the tunnel, and over on the other side of the park is the Anderson Blockhouse. This one is a replica, which means that they just built it to look like the original Anderson Blockhouse. So we're going to go on up the trail here and take a look at it and see what's going on. Okay guys, so we've made it to the blockhouse from up the little trail. It's not very long, so this one's pretty easy to walk. But here's the trail, the blockhouse. And over there, does anybody guess what that might be? If the blockhouse is here, I wonder what might be over there. That's right, it's a barn. Alright, let's go a little bit closer and take a look at it. It looks like they've got a little garden set up out here, and they might have something planted. They've got some covering over it to protect it from the cold and the frost. So, yeah, the little garden. Let's walk in here and take a look. I wonder if it's opened up. Sometimes they have events here, and they have it open where you can come in and look at it, but I'm not sure it's open today. Mr. Donnie's wanting to point something out to you guys.
What do you think that hole right there was for?
You see it, guys?
In pioneer days, whenever, Native Americans and the pioneers were clashing over land, they would live in these houses, the pioneers would. Indians would attack them, so they would go up there and that would give them a place they could shoot down and protect their family.
And there's their little window. It's locked. Let's see. See, they got little windows right there where they could see out, and again, they could shoot out those little windows to protect their homestead. Oh, you can probably see the window better right here where it's not so shiny. It's right in between, in the middle up there. Can you see it now? There we go. Here's a little outdoor table they've got set up. A barrel. And then it looks like they found the outdoor kitchen. So used to, like at the Carter's cabin, how it had the fireplace inside. This place has a fireplace also, and
It goes up through the middle.
It goes up through the middle of it, is what Mr. Ronnie said. And they cook their food in there. But in the summer, when it's really hot, you don't want to cook and have a big fire in your house. So they have an outdoor oven. And that's where they would come out here and cook. And they might bake some bread in there. Kind of looks like, today we've seen these at like pizza places. Looks like a pizza oven. But they used to put their fire in there and then cook their food in there. And that would keep the heat in one space and bake it like an oven. And then... let's see. Looks like I got another little flower bed right here, or a garden. Let's walk over and look at the barn. There's another little fire pit they've got set up to have little fires, maybe storytelling.
There's a lot of vents in the center. This is the blacksmith shop right here.
So, Mr. Donnie said this is a blacksmith shop, and he's going to talk about it because Miss Pam does not know.
They build a fire in here. And this is what's known as a bellows. And all this thing does is it comes up like this, and it blows air. See the dust coming out when I do that? So they can make the fire really, really hot. They would heat up metal in there, and then bring it over here to this. This is called an anvil. And they would use a hammer, and they'd put their hot metal on here, holding it with a pair of pliers that they make. And they would hammer metal out and make things like knives, horseshoes, anything metal, any kind of tool they needed. This is where they did it.
There's a bucket of water where they would stick it to cool it off if it got when they were finished, and that would make it harden.
They got the handle fixed on the bellows. I didn't even notice a minute ago. So the blacksmith would be able to stand here and operate the bellows, hold this metal in there and get it hot, and then go right to the anvil and start hammering.
It's pretty cool.
Most of the time they got wood in here, but most of the time we prefer coal in a forge because it burns much hotter.
Okay, let's take a look on the other side. Right here is the inside, the middle of their barn. And this may be where they might have kept, their cows or
a wagon.
And kept, like here they've got their wood stacked so it will stay dry. But they might keep your stuff to keep it out of the weather.
This would be their food storage over here for their corn, also known as a corn crib.
Oh, and look, it's got a door.
It's got a modern door, so they got it closed up.
So it must have
supplies.
Some supplies in it for when they do their events out here at the tunnel, the blockhouse. And this is called a dairy. This is where you can keep your food in the ground, and it keeps the temperature cool, so it helps preserve your food. I don't know if it's open or not. I guess it's.
I got some stuff stored in here,
But yeah, it's made with rock.
Got some kettles.
And it's a lot cooler in here than it is outside even. And you would store your food in here and keep it fresh. And that way you could have food throughout the year whenever you canned your food, or maybe you have some meats you might want to put in here.
I think they got this one set up as a spring house. Go see the rock thing?
I do see that.
So this is where the water would come in. This would be the spring house where they come get their fresh water. But most spring houses did double as food storage as well, because springs come out of the ground with really cold water.
Alright guys, I think that's all there is here to see. There's looks like some flowers up here. Let's go up here and see if there's any that's blooming. Remember how we talked about it is spring now? And this is a bush. Looks like it might be a rose bush, I'm not sure. It's got thorns on it, but I don't see anything blooming yet. But we'll come up here. And do you see how the fence is laid? That's how they used to make their fences without using any nails. They stack it, and that way it sticks together, and that would keep their animals in near the barn.
What about these things here? Do you know what they are?
These are hitching posts. So if a family from another home, another cabin came over, they would need somewhere to put their horses. So they would bring their horse and they would tie its halter up to the hitching post. Those are called hitching posts. And that's where you would let your horse, and then it's close to the barn, so they may bring them out some grain or something to eat while they were visiting. So
notice the shingles on the roof of the building here? See how they stick up from that side? The reason they do that is back then they didn't do ridge caps like we do now, because the weather mostly comes from that direction. Where we live, we mostly get weather out of the west going to the east. So that's the west facing slope of the building. So that helps keep the weather from getting down in the top of the roof right there. So they let it hang over the less weather side.
all right. Again, here's the blockhouse. Hey guys, it's Miss Pam, and we've been talking about finding hickory nuts on the trails when we've been walking and stuff. Well, I just noticed that there's this nut in here. Does anybody know what kind of nut this is? That's right, it's a walnut, and it comes from a walnut tree. And this is called the husk, and it's on the outside, the outermost. So when it falls from the tree, it'll be protected in this husk, but then you can peel it out of the husk. I gotta be careful because it'll stain your hands. But when you get it out, it'll look like this. And then this is the walnut. And then you crack it open, open it up, and your nuts will be in it. And let me see if I can bust it open.
You probably need a bigger one.
We'll let Mr. Donnie bust it open.
Here's your walnut.
And here, and it's starting to rot too, because it's out of season. But you can see the inside, and that would be the meat of the nut that you would eat. It's right there. And the squirrels love these, and I do too.